welcome back to episode 6. We have the giggles. This is season 2, Real Estate Myth Busting on Sternly Speaking, a real estate podcast. We are your hosts, Brooke
and Steph.
And this is our final episode. And we've just had a 5-minute long conversation about how to pronounce the word finale. So, Steph thinks it's finale.
It is. I don't think it is.
Steph's convinced. I'm convinced it's finale. And neither of them sound right at this point.
No.
So,
I'll make
a poll below in Spotify. You can do that.
Please, yes.
And we'll see what our viewers think.
Okay.
So, anyway, jumping into our myths for today. Steph doesn't know what these myths are. I just wrote them down.
I hope I can answer them.
And so I actually have 4,
okay.
I think. And
Let's bust them.
Let's bust them. These are financing myths. So.
Oh, okay. Do we need a lender in here for this?
No.
Okay.
No. We should not. I didn't think about that. No, we won't.
Okay.
So, but just keeping in mind that there are 4 of them, so answering concisely, pithy.
Okay.
So first one, you need 20% down to buy a home.
Okay. Do you want me to bust it right now, or do you want
why
all
don't
of
you
them?
tell me your thoughts?
My thoughts are you do not. That's a myth. So we have a number of no down programs here in the state of Utah that lenders can take advantage of. You do have to qualify for them, but you do have the opportunity to come to the table with either no down, or there might be some that are 3.5% down or 5% down, or et cetera.
Yeah.
So no, you do not need 20% down. And if you try to save to 20% down, the market will continue to increase and you will never actually buy a house because you can never outsave the market.
Yeah, I love that piece of advice because it's so true. So many people think that, I just need to save. And you'll never be able to save as much as you need to counteract
what's
fast
happening
the market.
Yeah. Yep, exactly.
Yeah. So, I wrote down stuff like VA, USDA loans are some programs that offer.
Yeah, FHA offers a no down. Conventional actually has a no down program too. So you have, there's grants. There's so many different ways to take advantage of that in the market.
So someone interested in buying that doesn't have 20% down, just talk to a lender, talk to an agent. They'll help you out.
Talk to an agent. They'll get you in touch with their preferred lender.
Yeah, true.
And then you'll start kind of building out that team. But you do not need 20%.
Cool. Love it. And also, you can put more than 20% down.
Correct.
20% is not the only.
It's not the hard and fast rule.
Yes. Yeah. You can do 21%.
If you so desire.
Yeah. So this is, you can only buy a home for what you're pre-approved for.
Okay. So with that, that's so circumstantial. So it's going to be very hard for me to just bust the myth because you could get pre-approved, but you might have somebody else gift you money that allows you to purchase higher because they're paying the difference, right? But in the end, you can't go over an approval amount unless you can show additional cash.
Yeah, so that's more so what my question was going for. Like, people might not know about like claiming rental income, as in maybe the house has a in-law quarters that you're going to use as a secondary source of income for that, which I guess would still be, you get pre-approved for that.
They would still, so that what's hard about this is if I have a down payment, if I have anything that comes into play, the lender's already going to take that into consideration. And so I probably wouldn't say that's so much a myth. You definitely cannot purchase above your approved amount unless you have cash that was never determined in that approval. So if at the last minute, mom and dad want to come and give you $20,000, well, you could purchase a home for $20,000 more because you have cash for the difference that was never put into your pre-approval.
And what about seller finance? Does that come into play with being able to buy more than you're pre-approved for?
So, seller finance, you don't actually have to be pre-approved.
Yes.
Because the lender and the bank do not matter. It's the seller who matters.
Yeah.
And so on that one, it would just be determined by if the seller was willing to accept your offer and felt like you could make that work.
Yeah. Well, so say you get pre-approved for this amount and you don't like it or whatever, you could go the seller finance route and still buy.
Correct.
Outside of your
Correct.
And then kind of this goes hand in hand. Conventional loans through Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac are the only options for financing. Things like seller finance are available and private loans. And
Yeah,
stuff like
so you can do a hard money lender, which really can be anybody who has funds.
Yeah.
You know, so we have, you know, an agent on our team that is a private money lender, or people will call them hard money lenders. And so you can go where you get a loan through somebody that way. And so you don't have to always do the traditional financing. It doesn't always have to be done that way. So like I do have a piece of land that I am seller financing to the seller. And so I didn't have to get an approval or anything like that. We just gave them money and put payments in place.
Nice.
Yeah. Cool. So there's lots of different ways
Yeah.
to buy real estate.
Yeah. And then this last one is you only need a pre-qual before house searching.
Okay, I hate that so much.
You hate what?
Pre-quals. I don't even understand them. Like, why? And so, technically, if you have a horrible agent, yes, you could go out with a pre-qual.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that that's a house that you could purchase. Doesn't mean that a seller is going to accept a pre-qual with an offer. And so it's always best to get your full loan approval so you know exactly what you approve for. But you don't really even have to have your financing in order before you go see a home. That's not, unless the seller specifically requires it. So sometimes in the higher end homes, like the luxury homes, they will require a copy of the approval to make sure that you're not a looky-loo and wasting their time, right?
Yeah.
But it's not a requirement. You don't have to technically show that every single time.
Gotcha.
But it's going to come down to, you know, is the listing agent and the seller requiring it?
Yeah. And can you explain what a pre-qual is versus a pre-approval?
Yeah, a pre-qual is where I just go online and put in, I make this much, this is how much, this is what my take home is, this is what I think my debt to income ratios are, and I'm just there putting in numbers, and then it spits me out a pre-qual.
Gotcha.
And so it just says, based off of the numbers that you have given us, this is what you would be approved for. But nobody has verified any of the information I've put in, and nobody has pulled my credit or anything like that. So pretty much any Joe Schmo can go get himself a pre-qual.
Just by lying.
Just by lying.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and here's the thing is I've had some clients say, oh, you know, I work, they're hourly employees, that don't have a set schedule. It's like kind of like the Amazon workers. I'm going to take that industry where they're picking up shifts and trading shifts and whatever. And they'll say, yeah, I average about 32 hours a week. And they'll have 1 week that's only 6 hours. And then 1 week that's 40 hours. And so they've got to get all of these pay stubs, you know, a number of pay stubs to see how many hours they've worked. And most of the time they'll say, oh yeah, I easily average 32 hours a week. And they won't. They'll average maybe 24.
Yeah.
They just don't know
Yeah.
because they're never tracking it to that level. In their mind, they feel like, oh man, I work like 50 hours every single week.
Yeah.
Right? So, what was the myth again?
It is you only need a pre-qual before house searching.
Oh. If you're dumb.
Nice. Cool. Do you have any other myths to do with financing that you want to go over?
Oh, no, I think we pretty much covered them.
Cool.
Yeah.
That was great.
Just call us, talk to us. We'll set you straight, get you on the right path to purchasing a home.
Yeah.
I can't believe we're done.
Thank you for tuning in. We will catch you next week, or we might take a week off to prep for our season 3.
Yeah.
We are so excited to announce the theme of season 3. That was a tongue twister. And yeah, we hope to see you guys next season. Thank you so much for tuning in.